Day 92 of 365 days of meditation. Creeping up on 100 real fast here. I did the same meditation I did yesterday and the day before, which was the Joe Dispenza Blessing of the Energy Centers meditation. You can find the meditation on the drjoedispenza.com website. I did it as part of an online course of his that I took. And because I have access to the meditation, I decided that I would do it again today. It's about just over 40 minutes long, and then I usually sort of wrap up my practice, take a little extra time. So I think all in all I was probably meditating for about 45 minutes, maybe a little bit more. And not a ton to really report. It was pretty low key compared to the last couple times I did it. I think in big part just because I'm tired. And when you're meditating, you are in some sense sort of listening to the cues and signals in your body. And that includes the signal that you're tired. And sometimes I find anyway, it's hard for me to do a guided meditation or really dig into a meditation and kind of explore the subconscious or an idea or something if I'm tired. I just don't have the drive or the energy to do it. So I tend to just sit there and kind of be more in a relaxed state. I found myself a little agitated towards the end of the practice, mostly because my lower back was sore. I think I spent a lot of time sitting today at work, which is not normal. I usually stand most day, but today I was sitting and my back did not like me for it. So yeah, not really much to report on the meditation other than, a good reminder to do it when I'm not exhausted at the end of the day. But, better late than never, I guess. Consistency is the key here right now. So that's it. Nothing profound. I've been listening to the book on audiobook, The Anatomy of Anxiety by Dr. Ellen Vora. Today's chapter, I've actually listened to it twice already. And it's about the role inflammation plays in mental health. And they talked about she talks about the monoamine theory, which is of mental health, which is that negative states of mental health, anxiety, depression, etc., are a result of imbalances in dopamine or serotonin or GABA or GABA, I guess. And that's one theory, but a lot of evidence now shows that that's more sort of correlation than causation, meaning those the level of dopamine or GABA or serotonin in our brain being sort of irregular is a result of the state that we're in, the mental health state we're in. It's not what's causing it. It's sort of a effect, if you will, but it's not the cause. And then they put forward this other theory, which is the what do they call it? This is the inflammatory theory, I think, or the cytokine theory, which is that cytokines, which are produced by the immune system, and they're sort of a marker of inflammation. There's evidence that they're able to cross the blood-brain barrier, and they can affect the parts of the brain that are responsible for threat detection, or the parts of the brain that are related, or that we believe are sort of the parts of the brain that are processing threat detection and fear. And that they believe that this theory anyway proposes that states of things like anxiety or obsessive thinking and OCD, depression, etc., is actually a result of inflammation and the way that inflammation affects the areas of the brain responsible for fear and threat detection. I'm not sure if I was able to explain that succinctly, but I am tired, so I did my best. But anyway, yeah, it was just interesting. I was thinking about how that sort of ties into my experiences and how I was experiencing rheumatoid arthritis and rheumatic inflammation as a kid. Started up a little bit later, I think, actually, than severe symptoms of OCD. Well, no, maybe it actually probably correlated around the same time as this pretty severe symptoms of OCD and then corresponding anxiety, depression. But I think there was some predisposition and some early signs of sort of vigilance and rumination for myself that sort of predates the inflammation. But I almost wonder if there's sort of an interplay there. I definitely experienced both at the same time. And I know that my mood definitely affects sort of inflammatory flare-ups in my body. If I'm stressed out, for instance, then I'll, whether it's mental or actual toxic stress from, eating crap food or environmental stress, I definitely, there's definitely a correlation for me between stress and inflammation and yeah, definitely stress in my mood as well. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting book so far, and that was a little interesting bit on the idea of inflammation directly affecting our mental health. So there was more. They talked about the gut health, effect on our mental health, and also the sort of role that the microbiome plays in our mental health. So yeah, interesting book. You check it out if you're interested. Again, it's called The Anatomy of Anxiety by Dr. Ellen Vora. And that's it for today. I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. So in closing, as always, if you're struggling with your mental health, talk to somebody. Really, I mean, maybe it's even if you're not struggling with your mental health and you're just struggling with something difficult in your life, talk to somebody. We are social creatures, human beings. We evolved in tribes, tight-knit communities, and isolation is not good for our mental health. And I know from my own experience that when you're struggling with your mental health, we tend to isolate, and maybe that's not the best thing we can do. The body does want rest. I think it's signaling to us that there's a problem, but, and that would also make sense along the inflammation lines, when we are fighting viruses, etc., the immune system is activated and we want rest. And when we're depressed, if it's a result of maybe inflammation, which is an activated, overactive immune system, potentially, we also kind of just want to shut down. But and again, I'm just spouting off based on what I was reading today, or listening to today. But definitely from my own experience, there's nothing worse than feeling alone when you're struggling with your mental health, and reaching out to talk to somebody can be of massive benefit. So I would encourage you to do so. And if you are witnessing somebody else struggle with your mental health that you care about, I would encourage you to reach out to them, because they might not reach out to you. That's it. The end. Have a good night.